MZTV.
It's the crazy Martin Zender daring to broadcast out of doors. I was going to say just wait for the sirens. As soon as I start this camera, the sirens usually come in. But now I think I have more danger of rain. There's wind coming in, the clouds are dark, but in spite of all that, I'm going to light a cigar. Sorry for those of you who think this is a giant distraction. You may be right. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. In verse 45, I told you that if there is a soulish body, there is a spiritual body also. And to me, this is proof that we will have a spiritual body, as I told you. Okay, now we're going to go from soulish to soilish and from spiritual to celestial. Watch this. This is highly technical. It's highly technical, but I love this kind of stuff. I love this kind of stuff. So, thus it is written, I'm in verse 43, the second part. Thus it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living soul. The last Adam, a vivifying spirit. Well, look at this. There's a difference between living and vivifying. Adam became a living soul, yes, but something that's alive is not necessarily vivified. So how can life be contrasted with vivification? Is because it's not the same. Life is living, but you can be living and still be mortal. Again, vivification is being made immortal. It's impossible to die again. And here's verse 46. This is what I promised you yesterday I was going to talk about today. But not first the spiritual, but the soulish. Thereupon the spiritual. Not first the spiritual. Because again, as I've told you, how would you like to start with the spiritual and have the soulish? That is the mere 5 sense realization of things. That would be a traumatic thing. It would be something to look down toward instead of up at. So God in his wisdom makes sure that we go through the hard things first, and then we look forward to the weekend. Weekend, you see, everybody wants the weekend, especially when you're in school, because you go through the week, then you go to the weekend. You could think about the other way around, like the weekend, we're starting with the weekend and then we're going into the week. Because what's the difference? The days are still in a string. You see what I mean? So if you're a crazy person, somebody could say, well, Saturday and Sunday, I'm starting there. I'm going to enjoy my time off, and then Monday, start the work day, the work week again. So it is start of the work week, but it's better to think of the start of the work week and you're looking forward to the weekend. Not that the weekend comes first and then comes the work week. It's a mental thing to think of this in the proper way. The Jewish day is a perfect example. Why? Well, the Jewish day begins at sunset. That's smart. That's like beginning everything on Monday. And you say you've never even heard of the weekend, right? Start everything on Monday, the weekend is ahead. Jewish day, the night comes first. We do it all wrong. So I always get sad, depressed in the evening. One thing, it's lonely around here. Well, not now. Seth is here and the pooch, you know. So. But God's smart, because the Jewish day, the night comes first, and then you look forward to the morning. We have the morning first, and then we look forward to the night. Some people like that. Some people look forward to that. But light and darkness is a parable of good and evil. That's why in the Jewish day, the evil comes first. We have 3 evil eons followed by 2 good eons. That's hinted at, that's shown in parable form by the mute testimony of the heavens, where God makes sure that he puts the night first. Even though the night and day, see, they naturally follow each other, night, day, night, day, night, day. Or you could say day, night, day, night, day, night, depending on which part you start at, right? Just like the weekend or the weekday. You could start on the weekend and say, I'm starting with the weekend, then I got to go to the weekday. Or you could say, I'm starting with the weekday, got to go to the weekend. Notice the change of tone in my voice? All right, so if you're a Jewish type person, you could say, Got to start with the day and look forward to the darkness, the night, the evil. That's where all the evil stuff happens. That's where people sneak around and steal stuff. A lot of works of wickedness are done under the cover of night. But no, God doesn't look at it that way. He takes our hair, pulls it a little bit, turns us toward this truth that, no, start with the night. Start with the night. First comes the night, then comes the morning. Where's that verse? Is it in Isaiah or Ezekiel? Watchmen, what are the night? Watchmen, what are the night? The night comes, but also the day. Also the day. Night first, then day. That's what we're seeing here. Not first the spiritual, but the soulish, thereupon the spiritual. Okay, that's a pretty simple truth. Now we're going to go on. It may sound simple, but it's profound. It's profound. Now we're going to go to verse 47. The first man was out of the earth, soilish. Now we're talking about his composition. The first man was out of the earth, soilish. The second man is the Lord out of heaven. So we're contrasting soil with heaven. May seem strange, but let's go on. Such as the soilish one is, Adam, such are those who are soilish, us, and such as the celestial one, now Paul's calling the celestial one, such are those also who are celestials, plural. And according as we wear the image of the soilish, we should be wearing the image also of the celestial. This is not talking about celestial beings, spiritual beings now in the heavenlies, those who have never taken flesh, right? Spiritual beings never were human. Not talking about them. Why? Because Paul follows verse 44, verse 48 with verse 49, and he says, according as we wear the image of the soilish, the celestials up there now, they never worn the soilish. The soilish is flesh. The flesh is made of soil. So the first man was out of the earth, literally. This is Adam, out of the earth. Soilish. And everything he does after that is soilish. So the flesh, the soil, is the composition, and the soul part of it, remember, we went from soulish to soilish, and I don't even know if these words are distinguished in the King James Version. I never referenced the King James Version to see how they screwed it up. Why should I tell you how the King James Version screwed it up? You're getting the right stuff here. So the soilish is the composition, and the soulish is the disposition. Composition, disposition. So now we're going to go from composition to composition. I'm not even kidding you. I would not joke about a thing like this. Because, watch this. Do you hear that mourning dove back there? Almost sounds like an owl. I used to be able to imitate that when I was a kid. Let me see if I can do it. I used to do this. Watch this. All right. One more time for those across the pond. Thank you. Across the pond simply because the signal takes longer to get over there. He's answering me. He knows. See, all creation has a premonition that they're about to be delivered from their bondage to decay and corruption. But it depends on the change of the children of God, the sons and daughters of God. We are the key to their change. I want to go there real quick since I've been having a conversation with this dove or whatever it is. I tell this to Honda all the time, Seth's dog. I tell it to Charles too, and they love it. They love it when I say this. I can tell they respond to it. To vanity, verse 20, Romans 8. For to vanity was the creation subjected. See? You hear him? I'm hoping you hear this thing over here. To vanity. No, I want to start a verse earlier in verse 19, because this is what I want to say. For the premonition of the creation, the premonition of the creation, that's a very broad term, not just humans, but this includes dogs, cats, doves, mourning doves, turtle doves. The premonition of the creation is awaiting the unveiling of the sons of God. They have a premonition. It's before feel. I think those are the elements, the English elements of the Greek word. It's definitely that they have a sense. They have a foreboding. Not it only is a positive foreboding. Foreboding is generally a negative connotation. They have a really kind of an expectation. They don't know it because they're not very smart. Like Honda, I'm going to show you him. He's over here. See if you can see him on the other side of the window. He doesn't look very smart from outward glance, but Honda, oh boy, see him? He's looking at me. Yeah, he's looking at me as I make my show. But believe me, when I tell him these things, he gets it. He gets it. They're waiting. Why? Why is the premonition of the creation awaiting the unveiling of the sons of God? This is why. Verse 20. For to vanity was the creation subjected. The creation, all creation. That dog, us, that dove, all subjected to vanity. Vanity is uselessness. It doesn't mean you're looking at the mirror all the time. It means things are useless. They're done. Things are done with no result. That's one of the most frustrating things we experience on earth. We work hard, and sometimes you just don't see the results. So we were subjected to vanity, not voluntarily. We know that Adam did not volunteer to be created, and we didn't volunteer to come out of Adam, and yet we did. But because of him who subjects it, God did it. God did this whole thing, starting with Adam. In expectation that the creation itself, the same creation that is groaning, the same creation that has a premonition, including Charles and Honda and that dove up there. In expectation that the creation itself also shall be freed from the slavery of corruption into the glorious freedom of the children of God. This is what I've been telling you. If there's a soulish body, there's a spiritual body also. They're going to be delivered into the glorious freedom of the children of God. They're not going to have the same glory we're going to have, but the word glory isn't here. It's free. It's glorious freedom. So freedom. So the animals, Honda and Charles, they're not going to have the same glory as us. That turtle dove, or whatever the heck it is not going to have the same glory, but they will have the glorious freedom. They will be delivered from these soulish and soilish bodies. I'll just say soulish for them, but the dog is of the soil. We are of the soil. All right. I'm glad that bird got me on this sidetrack. And Paul says, remember, there's a flesh of beasts, a flesh of flyers, a flesh of fish, flesh of human beings. Now, if there's a soulish, there's a spiritual also. Not first the spiritual, but the soulish, thereupon the spiritual. Great. I'm glad it's in that order. I love it. But it's not even like the weekend or the week. It's not even like the day, because it's not like it's a cycle. You see, the week is a cycle. So you could start it on the weekend, or you could start it at the beginning of I guess the week technically begins on Sunday, right? We're so conditioned to think of it as Monday. But this is not a circuit, because we start absolutely in the soulish and the soilish. We start here. So there's no option like, well, this is a loop, so let's start the loop at becoming spiritual and celestial. No, we don't even have the option here, so that's good. That's good. The first human was out of the earth, soilish. Okay, now we're going to composition. The second man is the Lord out of heaven. Paul mentions heaven there, but now he's going to mention celestial. Heaven is where that bird is. That bird, that my arm is waving through heaven if you're watching the patio cam. I think I almost lost this cigar. Who cares? Actually, I do. Actually, I do. I care. I love having my own show, because then I can do stuff like this. And you don't have to watch, but you can't help it. Somebody said to me on one of the comments, Martin, stop giving your political opinion. I said to this woman, who do you think you are telling me what I can't do on MZTV? You know what that MZ stands for? Yeah, it stands for Martin Zender. I can say what I want on my show. I feel like a real tyrant here, a despot, making you watch me light my cigar. But it's going to pay off, because watch this. Watch this. Paul states something that seems so obvious that why is he even bothering to say this? And it's this. Such as the soilish one is, Adam, such are those also who are soilish. Why? Because we're his progeny. We come out of him. Soilish begets soilish. Soil begets soil. Dirt begets dirt. Mortality begets mortality. All this stuff, these negative things have to be acted upon by an outside force. But now listen to this. Listen to this. There's a comma here. And then Paul makes the most profound announcement imaginable. Listen to this. And such as the celestial one, such are those also who are celestials. Paul, I think this is the only place where he is calling us celestials. He says we're seated among the celestials. We are seated among the celestials. But here, this might be the only place he said our realm might be inherent among the celestials. He says that a couple different places. But here, he is calling us celestials. Not even celestial beings, but celestials. We're celestials. So we went from soil, we went from composition. Before we went from composition to disposition, now we're going from composition to a different composition. We're going from a composition of soil to a celestial composition. And the thing that happens in between these two compositions is a transfiguration. All right, let me slow down a little bit. And such as the celestial one, that's Jesus Christ, such are those also who are celestials. I just told you that the reason we're soilish is because Adam was soilish. And Paul is making this case that we came out of Adam, so of course that which is soilish begets soil. Such as the soilish one is, such are those also who are soilish. So we were talking about generation, right? Generation out of Adam. But now this. And such as the celestial one, Jesus Christ, such are those also who are celestial. So I am also looking here at us being his progeny, at us being a natural outcome that is that we follow suit with the celestial Christ, just as surely as we follow suit of the soilish Adam. Because now we're not going from soulish, we're not going from soulish to spiritual, which is disposition. You either have a soulish disposition or a spiritual disposition. We are now going from a soilish composition to a celestial composition, such as the celestial one, such as he is. And Paul's just talking now about composition, soil. So the celestial one, Jesus Christ, is composed of something. It's just not soil. He's composed of something. And we are going to be composed of something. That's a deep, deep secret that Paul is not revealing. Nobody's revealing. I guess you'd have to say spirit. But I don't think we're going to be composed of spirit. Spirit is the vivifying force that animates the thing so composed, whether it's of soil or of something else. But it doesn't say what Christ is composed of. I mean, he's animated completely by spirit. But he was animated completely by spirit when he was on earth, and he was composed of soil. He's composed of something else now. So the difference is not in whether he's animated by spirit or not, because he's animated by spirit now among the celestials, just as he was animated by spirit here on earth. The difference is, when he was on earth, he was of Adam, partly because he was of the soil. But now he's of a different composition. It ain't soil. What is it? I don't know. But would I like to know? Yes, I sure as hell would like to know. But the key element here is, just as Paul says, there's a soulish body, guaranteed that there's a spiritual body also. Now he's saying, do you have a soilish body composition? Therefore, you will have a body such as the celestial one has. So the change is guaranteed, the disposition is guaranteed, and the composition is guaranteed. So you are going to be composed of something. I'm constantly fighting this idea that people think we're wisps and we're just going to be spirit vapor. But no, Christ is composed of something now besides a soil. And again, we're in the realm of composition because Paul is now launched on a different word. Not soulish, that's disposition. Now it's soilish, that's composition. And so this world we're going to be coming into is real. It's real. We are going to still be human beings because we're a new humanity, right? God doesn't get rid of humanity. It's a new humanity. He doesn't get rid of the concept of earth, but we have a new earth. So it's not like earth is bad, but there's old earth, new earth. It's not like human beings are bad. We're just soilless human beings, and they're going to be of a celestial composition, but we're still going to be human beings. And of course, the realm of our operation is different. The realm of this whole new operation is the celestial world, and so our bodies need to be changed. And this is the next part now. In order to get to this strange matter that we don't yet know about, this celestial composition, it's not spirit. It is not spirit. Spirit's the energy that animates it. Whatever it is, it ain't soil. It's something, but it's a substance of some kind, and it's real, because Paul's comparing it to the soil. So what Paul's going to talk about next is that we require a transformation. We require a transfiguration in order to suit us for a different realm. Now, to even get among the celestial realm, you have to get in a rocket ship. You have to take some of Earth's atmosphere with you, because our bodies cannot function unless we have an atmosphere we're familiar with. There's no atmosphere up in the celestial realm. No atmosphere that we know of, so we have to take an atmosphere with us. Even those who are walking in space on their tethers, they have an atmosphere inside their helmet. There's an atmosphere in there, otherwise they would die. They would not be able to breathe. So the next thing Paul's going to talk about here is that it's the next logical progression is that we, and this is a secret Paul is saying, but because he's revealed our celestial destiny, now the secret is that in order to fit us for that destiny, our bodies are going to have to be changed. And he's going to be getting to that next. And so our bodies need to be changed. And this is the next part now. In order to get to this strange matter that we don't yet know about, this celestial composition, it's not spirit. It is not spirit. Spirit's the energy that animates it. Whatever it is, it ain't soil. It's something, but it's a substance of some kind, and it's real, because Paul's comparing it to the soil. Whatever it is, I want it.